Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorials, we'll look on Animation Wizard. To access Animation Wizard, you can press F11 or go through the menu, Display, Timeline, and click Show Timeline. Or you can just go ahead and your toolbar and icon, you can right click to access Animation Wizard or left click. But if you show time, if you enable the box display animation wizard, it will pop up. Another case, it will just create a timeline. So let me close it and we'll just open animation wizard. So animation wizard will apply for specific object. Currently, we don't select anything. So let's do this. Let's first create it sphere. We'll just drop sphere on the screen. And I want to animate this sphere. So I'm going ahead, click of animation wizard. We'll go to next, and this option will just provide for us what type of motion we want to for our sphere. You can notice we have it standard, smooth velocity, look ahead, airplane, helicopter, missile, automotive, almost any type we can do it. And what's happening, how they work in different, it is apply different formulas for the accelerations, for the bending. For example, when airplane, how much it will tilt it. It's actually, or a helicopter, it's apply different type motions for the object based on this. Anytime when you create, you can come back and reselect different motions for any object you wanted. So you're not just lock on a time when you're creating, but it does help you to select correct on the beginning, because like for example with the automotive, with all this motorbike, the grounded, it will go follow the terrain, kind of, it will put it down and it will provide the terrain profile, so it will create correctly. So right now let's go select automotive. And before we go next, I want to also look on the options right here. So let's look. In the option, we can additionally specify the roll sensitivity, accelerations, anticipations, and also pitch options. So the roll sensitivity will help us determine how much we want this kind of tilting happen. Think about this: when airplane example is going and it start turning, it's kind of start rolling a little bit to the sides, to keep it right. So this is, you can specify in a way you want it. We'll look on this when we start working a little bit more with flying animations. Also, we have accelerations, which is same, determine how fast the object will start accelerated with the beginning. Anticipations in Vue 7, I think it was represent additions for the cameras, when camera can have this kind of live motions. And in some ways, anticipation is taken, it's calculating ahead what's happening, and your object can start changing its motion based on what may happen ahead, and it kind of give it a very live look animation to this. Same things we have with acceleration on a pitch, on a startups, and full pitch up. Okay, so we'll come back to this in a second. Okay, so let's go to next. Right here, we can specify type of animation and repeat we wanted. So once, it's a simple, it will take this our animations and move it to just do one animation and it will stop. When we have it repeat animations, it's take all animation that we apply just to multiple objects. We'll repeat this animation once and repeat another time and more, as many we specify. The loop is a little bit different. It's will repeat it, but it's will repeat it not for all scenery like and repeat, it's for each individual object. So for example, if I take and animate this sphere and let the sphere going past, and I'll create second sphere, will take longer. So what's happening when this sphere is reach end and it's set to the loop, after animation ended for this sphere, the last keyframe, it will move back to the beginning and repeat it again. And it will be different for other spheres. So it's the won't necessarily will match position each time when loop independently for each object. This is very useful when you're creating a crowds, maybe like on a background, a lot of people or something is moving and you want to create it. So in that case, they will kind of moving on a background, but a little bit randomly every time. Mostly if you set speed a little bit different for each object. Okay, Pendler, it's exactly what the name explain. It's animation when it's play to the last frame. Now it's will reverse animation and play from last frame to the first. So its animation will kind of almost like in a clock you have it this pendler working. So it's explained this way. We also can specify the axis we want to work with our animation. And this is kind of start to be important to say which is front of your object on what axis. For example, you don't want your car roll wrong way or turn sideways. You kind of need to specify. As usual, when you set pivot points and everything is set correctly on the objects, you almost don't need any adjustment here. The view will take very nice um, locations of the object and reposition. So now we have it also speed mode. The constant velocity, it's your speed on a beginning, will be exactly the same during the all points of animations and same on the end. Easy in, easy out. You will begin with a slow acceleration. You have a full speed on the middle and you will de-accelerate on the end, so you slow down. This is will provide um, realistic look for example, if you have a butterfly, they will start flying from the fly. You probably want to use the easy in because it doesn't have a constant velocity. But if you have the car which was passing by your camera, you probably want to use it constant velocity. So it depends on what type of the you look for animation you can select it. So let's go ahead and select easy in for this. Let's go to next. And here we have options to use it spin for our object if we want to spin around or vibration. The spin, when we're using this, its object will start rotating and it will rotate with the speed we specified and on an axis we specified as well. We did use this one when we want to create like propellers on an airplane rotate or maybe light rotating on a police car or something. You probably want to use it this one. The spin animation will apply during to all animation time. So it's not just a one-time spin, it will loop it the spin around. Rule over, what is specified, you have a half turn per second. So if we put it 360, well, we will have it one full turn per second. If we go ahead and put it 720, we will have it 2 full turns per second. So this is in a way you can specify how fast the object will rotate it. So right now you notice we have an X right here in our object. So we can say Y and it will start rotating object in different options. Also we have it vibration. Vibration, it's very useful when you start working maybe with object like car driving or other way you want to show the shaking from the engine. Or you can add some other effects maybe to the any like lights maybe shaking, but it's not necessary. We can work just on the motion properties. The vibration can also, or other options we can apply to almost any other options, but in a wizard that will be applied to the motion of the object. Vibration you can have from 100 hertz. You can switch up and down. So let's go ahead, set maybe to the 50 hertz. Also, we can have it in points, how many watt verse vibration intensity. And we can specify a little bit higher so we can preview. As well, we have it all right here. You can notice we start having quite a bit of vibration right in our preview window. We also can intensify in using filters as well. And to access them, it's exactly the same like anywhere. Where we have it from the time, we can specify. For example, I want to set a little bit lower and to the end, I want to begin a vibration on a slow point and to the end, I want very high. you notice right here we have it 1 second. I'll show in a second. Don't kind of be alarmed about this, because by default animation will set to 1 second. We can specify higher different time in the end, but right now just notice this is end of your animations, this is beginning of your animations, and this is value we're representing. So we want almost no vibration on a beginning and very high vibrations close to the end. So let's click OK. Also, we can specify what axis we want vibrations. And for example, for the car or for other ones, you maybe doesn't want car going underground or going sideways. So you can specify different type of those vibrations. You can have it for the ship, like for example, when I did the spaceship flying, I removed back and forward kind of for me vibration. So I was just doing sideways on that case to provide just a little bit nice look. So let's go ahead next. And this screen, you can notice we have our view. Okay, and to preview, if you just hold down Control button again and right mouse, you can zoom in and zoom out. If you just click right mouse, you can move around so you can see your scenery. And right here, for example, you can see here we have our normal object. So in this point, I can specify my key point. So I'm actually start drawing like with a pen. You can notice right here, those juggling lines you see right here, it's because we add vibration before. So this is normal. If we don't have a vibration, the line will be smooth. And actually it's very nice because right now it will showing me how my object will apply the vibration I selected before on my time. So my keyframe is changing this way. By clicking right now, I'm adding new points. To edit, you need select. If you do not select it, you will continuously adding. So again, you can go inside and kind of specify, reposition your keyframe. We also can insert the new keyframe if we want it, or we can delete those keyframe. So when you're done creating your path, you can go to the next frame. Right here in the next frame, it's when actually we will try to guess how long your animation should be based on a distance and based on acceleration and speed. You can anytime you can modify just by typing in value how long you want this animation to be. Okay, also you notice this is the line is altitude for animation for my object, and currently because I'm on a flat area, the altitude is just straight line. In a second we'll look how it will apply to different object which is going to over a mountain. So let's specify, for example, 6 seconds. We'll click next. Right here you can see I have it preview run my screen. When you like it, you can click next. The menu will tell you that we'll open timeline and we'll create all those frames. So let's click finish. Okay, and let me just go ahead, show timeline. So right here, you notice we have it create our animation, and we also created keyframes that we specified. So at this point, we can actually go ahead and render our animations if we want it. The one thing what I want to show you also with let me create brand new. For example, I have an object. It's one of the power of the wizard, and I'll have a terrain. Okay, let's take my main camera, move a little bit away. So I want this object just going over like a rule, maybe over my terrain. So I'll go ahead and animation wizard, click OK. I'll select for this as pedestrian. Let's go next. So once constant velocity. I don't want any of motions, additional motions. So I apply right here and I said I want to go straight right here. Click next. Right now you notice we have this altitude path created as, which is using profile of the terrain that object will pass by. Also, it will calculate a time. So 1 second, let's put maybe 2 seconds. Click next. And you notice right here, now we have it path creating for us for our object. So when we start motion, you can see our object just going over terrain. This is kind of a very nice power of the um, again of the wizard. So it's help us to create properly matching path. The couple things I just needed kind of point to you. If you create a small object, get this point. Sometimes your timeline may be changed, and in some cases, like right here, you can see some artifact. It's because how the system is detecting um, points to look ahead. Okay, in some cases, you may need to work a little bit more with the scale of the object so it's kind of applied properly when it start calculating the terrain, or you want to probably add additional keyframes to some areas so to keep it properly. So it's need to be required tweaking. After made mode is work fine, but it's always you probably find some artifacts that you probably want to rework. It's moving up with the manual additions. So also other things I want to show you, we have it. If you decide to change any options with a wizard, you always can relaunch new wizard again. Okay, or if you want just apply to what you have it, we can go to our animation options tab, and when you can click on animation toolbox. And animation toolbox, you have it about same options that we have it in a wizard, they're only condensed together. So right here we have it our motions. You remember we have the basic standard smooth, all of these options that we can change if we wanted change from pedestrian to motorbike more. We also have it options look ahead. It's when it take direction of the object front, and it's move the front object toward this pine line. We'll look on this one we more when we start working with airplanes. Also smooth velocity. Also we have it options where we have it all these motion options. You remember, same like screen before. And we also have it all our repeat modes, path. We have it our spin vibration, and our easy in or constant velocity. So this is our like animation wizard, only condensed. If you prefer better to go through the steps, you can always click on animation wizard and going this way, which will take you from all your settings you select before. So it save all the information, but only step by step way. Here is a kind of introduction to animation wizard, and when we start working more with the project, we will start using in real time, so you get a handle of the animation wizard, how it's work. Thank you for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio. Please remember visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com.